Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable all of the reviewer in the TSSA 2022 who give me chance to present my paper in this event right now. Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Agung Wahyudi. You can call me Agung. I'm from Electrical Engineering, Faculty Science and Technology, State of Islamic University Sunan Gunung Jati Bandung. Right now I wanna present our paper by the title is on the design object stamping system using Electro-Pneumatic based on PLC Omron CP1E. For the outline of the presentation, we have four parts. The first is introduction, the second is system design, the third is result and analysis, and the last is conclusion. Okay, now we discuss about introduction. Automation and efficiency in the industrial sector are increasingly needed. The middle-class industry products object using the manual stamp method. The one solution using electropneumatic automation. Electropneumatic system is a system that uses a combination of pneumatic and electrical components. Pneumatic stamping is a system in which a stamp is applied to each item by a pneumatic cylinder. The pneumatic cylinder is merged by a solenoid valve. Sensor red switch are used to provide position feedback and status information. The automation stamping machine uses a PLC-based control system that will convert the frequency feedback from the solenoid valve connected to the cylinder into a mechanical actuator command operated by a pneumatic cylinder. We have a state of the art in this our research. We take two reference. The first is research by Ramadhani et al. Success is designing a nameplate that design control system stamping machine based on PLC with a production time of 9.8 seconds. Research by Nanang Ali Sutisna et al. Success is designing an automatic machine to stamp that endorse codes on master cartons for blister pack packaging. The stamping system designed in this paper is an automatic stamping system using PLC Omron CP1E with a stamping duration 3 seconds and standby time of 2 seconds, which is useful for facilitating industrial work in stamping object. Okay, now we discuss about system design. We have three parts. The first is stamping machine design. We can pay attention about this picture. In this picture, we design using SolidWorks application. The purpose to make the design is for easier mechanical to make stamping machine. Some parts are designed using 3D printing, such as the button house, object stamping, and stamping machine holder. Okay, based on our project, we have so many components. The first is input system. We use sensor red switch. The function sensor is pneumatic cylinder sensor are used to provide position feedback to control system in automated machinery and equipment. Pneumatic cylinder use sensor to detect the linear position of the piston for application where position feedback is critical. The function of the sensor to detect the magnetic field which is integral in the cylinder piston. The second is solenoid valve 5 div 2. The function solenoid valve is the solenoid valve work electromagnetically where they have a coil as a driver. When the coil gets a voltage supply, AC or DC, then the coil will turn into a magnetic field so that it moves the piston inside. And the third is pass button. The function of pass button is to control the system, like start button, stop button. The start button function to operate the system and the stop button to turn off the system. Okay, now we have support systems such as air service unit. The air service unit function is to regulate the air pressure that will be challenged to the pneumatic system and prevent dust, water, which can make the wear and tear of the components in the pneumatic system. And power supply we use 24 volt to supply the electric system, and the compressor the function to supply the air pressure to the system. For the output system, we use single acting cylinder. Single acting cylinder, the most basic function of a pneumatic cylinder is to convert a potential energy, compressed air, into kinetic energy through the resulting motion. And the controller, we use PLC Omron CP1E. The function is to control all of the system, like input system or output system. And the PLC we can program using TX programmer with algorithm we built before. Okay, next. Right now we discuss about electrical circuit scheme. We can pay attention about this picture and this table. We have input to button start stop, 3 button start stop emergency, and address PLC I0.00, I0.01, I0.02, and the description for the push button start is normally open, the button stop is normally closed, the emergency button normally closed, and we have two red switch sensor in address PLC I0.03 and I0.04. Description is normally open. And for the output, in the button we have two lamp for the button on and for the button off. In address PLC, Q 100.00 and 100.01. And for the output, we have two cylinders who integrate with solenoid valve. In address PLC, Q 100.02 and Q 100.03. Right now, we can pay attention about this picture. This is designed in electrical system. So this button in here and the sensor near the cylinder and the object is here, and the cylinder integrate with the solenoid valve to control the movement of the cylinder. Okay, now we discuss about schematic drive system of stamping machine. For this scheme in this picture, we make using fluid sim application. The drive system serves as a tool to supply compressed wind from the compressor to the cylinder, integrated by a 5-diff-2 valve. The compressed air from the compressor entering the air surface unit, which will reduce the air pressure to 4 bar. The pressure is distributed to the pneumatic stamping machine components. That's why air surface unit is most function in the system, because from the compressor we have a air pressure so bigger than we must to pressure the air until 5 bar to operate the system. Okay, now we discuss about result and analysis. This is the picture we already make the stamping machine. Automatic stamping machine, there are several parts. We use PLC, button, power supply, terminal block, solenoid valve, red switch sensor, and a cylinder. We use cylinder acting cylinder. The power supply we use 24 volt, and the pressure we use pressure for of 4 bar. The stamping machine has 3 buttons in the form of a start button, a stop button, and emergency button, which are used in emergency. The red switch sensor on the stamping machine is used to detect the movement of the cylinder. The cylinder is integrated with solenoid valve to regulate cylinder movement. Okay, this is the program we use CX programmer application. We use program like a ladder diagram in this PLC. The program algorithm in the PLC for cylinder 2 is found on the bottom, and the cylinder 1 we reach in the top. When cylinder 2 move and the cylinder switch sensor 2 indicator is active, cylinder 1 is active and it will move faster than cylinder 2 in order to carry out the stamping process. When red switch sensor 1 is active, it will return to its original position. This tool will work repeatedly by using a timer for each item stamping process. Stamping time have a 3 seconds and standby 2 seconds. This is time for the stamping and this is time for the standbys. Okay, right now we discuss about real-time stamping machine testing. Based on the table, we try 5 testing using real-time measure with stopwatch. The first object 1 we get time 5 seconds, object 2 we get time 5 seconds, object 3 we get time 5.05 seconds, object 4 we get time 5.07 seconds, then object 5 we get time 5.1 seconds. For the totally we get average is 5.044 seconds. The result of manual stamping time calculated in compare with an algorithm set in the program. Before we use 5 times the stamping 3 and the standby 2, we compare about the real time, we get error 0.88%. The more often this machine works, the lower the air pressure from the compressor. That's why the time so slowly if we often use this system, because of the air pressure is decreased. Okay, right now we have a conclusion is our paper. The electro-pneumatic stamping system using the Omron CP1E PLC is designed to make easier for the industrial sector to carry out the stamping process automatically. This system is designed using Omron CP1E PLC as a red switch sensor, input controller, and solenoid valve 5-diff2 output with the integrated with a single acting cylinder. The working method is in accordance with an algorithm designed using CX programmer software by using a stamping time of 3 seconds and a standby time of 2 seconds. If it is compared to the real-time measurement result calculated using a stopwatch, the average time required to perform the stamping process is 5.044 seconds and the error value is 0.88%. Okay, that's all of our presentation. We apologize for our mistake. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.